Hello everyone, I am Dr. Dhruvin Patel, second year orthopedic resident. Today we are going to learn about congenital Talipes equinovirus. Disclaimer: the contents in the slides are of presenter's personal knowledge only. The content is intended for purely basic education sharing. Any content is based on presenter's own and personal understanding by standard subject study of literature, and it is not presented here as an evidence-based medicine. The content cannot be used directly for any literature, particular conditions management, treatment or other purpose by anyone without studying other evidence-based literature. The presenter is not responsible of any consequences of that. We do not have any advertisement goals. This is the outline we are going to study today. First of all, what is CTEV? Its epidemiology, its pathoanatomy, its clinical features, its classification, its radiographic evaluation, and its treatment. What is CTEV? CTEV is rotatory subluxation of talocalcaneonavicular joint, that is subtalar complex, and with talus in plantar flexion and subtalar complex in medial rotation and inversion. It is also referred as club foot. Talipes derived from the word talus meaning ankle and pes meaning foot. Equinovirus derived from the word equino, that is like a horse, and varus, that is turned inward. What are the deformities in CTEV? There are total 4 of them, that is 2 hindfoot components, 1 midfoot component and 1 forefoot component. 4 of them are cavus, that is exaggerated medial longitudinal arch at midfoot; adductus, that is forefoot in adduction at tarso-metatarsal junction; varus, that is hindfoot rotated inward at talonavicular joint; equinus, that is foot fixed in plantar flexion at ankle joint. This is the pictorial representation of the deformities we have talked before. Its epidemiology: it has incidence of 1 to 2 live births per 1000 live births. Its incidence in first degree relatives is 2%. Male to female ratio is 2.5:1. 50% of the cases are bilateral, and if unilateral, then right is more common than left. Now its etiology. Most common cause of CTEV is idiopathic. Many theories are related to this. First of all is arrested fetal development. Proposed arrest of fetal development of the lower limb in 6 to 8 weeks, so-called clubfoot embryonic stage, is one of the reasons. However, dysmorphic talar head and medial displacement of navicular is not seen in any stage of normal fetal development. Then mechanical factors in uterus. This is oldest theory proposed by Hippocrates, suggesting foot was held in equinovirus by external uterine compression. Other is vascular hypothesis. It suggests that temporary cessation of circulation in developing fetus resulted in contractures of soft tissues and defective development of cartilage. Then musculoligamentous fibrosis. Ippoliti and Ponseti found considerable increase in collagen fibers and fibroblastic cells in ligaments and tendons of clubfoot. They considered it to be primary defect, cartilaginous and bony changes being secondary. Now, secondary CTEV. It is associated with neuromuscular and syndromic etiologies like arthrogryposis multiplex congenita, diastrophic dysplasia, Streeter syndrome, that is constriction band syndrome, Freeman-Sheldon syndrome, Mobius syndrome, Neil-Patella syndrome, diastrophic dwarfism, poliomyelitis, spina bifida, myelodysplasia, and Friedreich's ataxia. Now its pathoanatomy. First, talus bone. Head and neck of talus are deviated medially and downward. Medial and plantar deviation of navicular articulation. Body rotated externally and is in equinus of neck in ankle mortise. Body extruded anteriorly, smaller than normal. Neck body angle is 90 to 110 degrees, normal being 150 degrees. Dislocation of head of talus out of its socket. Now navicular. Uh, it has medial and plantar displacement. It may lie close to medial malleolus. It may articulate with medial surface of dysmorphic talus or talonavicular joint subluxation. Now calcaneum. Often it is small in size. It is medially rotated. Mostly its anterior portion lies beneath the head of talus, causing varus and equinus of heel. Sustained tali is mostly underdeveloped. Cuboid. Its head is medially and is subluxated over calcaneum. Atrophy of peroneal group of muscles. Contracture of triceps suri, tibialis posterior, flexor digitorum longus, and flexor hallucis longus. Mostly the number of fibers in muscles are normal, but their size is smaller. Thickening and contracture of tendon sheaths, especially of tibialis posterior and peroneal muscles. Thickening and contractures are seen in ligaments, mainly calcaneofibular ligament, talofibular ligament, deltoid ligament, long and short plantar ligaments, spring ligament, bifurcate ligament, introosseous talocalcaneum ligament, and in masternode of Henry. Contractures are seen in posterior ankle capsule, subtalar capsule, talonavicular joint capsule, calcaneocuboid joint capsule, and plantar fascia contracture leads to cavus deformity. Skin changes being there may be deep crease on medial side, dimples on lateral aspect of ankle and midfoot, shortening of medial side of sole, callosities and bursas on lateral aspect of foot. Vascular changes being there may be hypoplasia or absence of dorsalis pedis and anterior tibial artery. Now, clinical features being mostly the heel is small and is in equinus, foot is inverted and with relation to tibia, abnormal thin calf, varying degree of resistance when we try to dorsiflex and evert the foot, and it may be associated with anomalies and neuromuscular conditions discussed previously. These are various classifications for CTV. This is Cumin classification. It divides CTV into various groups according to untreated, treated, resistant, recurrent, neglected, and complex. Now, untreated means affected child is under 1 year of age and had no or very little treatment. Treated means affected child's feet have corrected with Ponseti method and they have completed the casting phase. Resistant means child has previously untreated clubfoot and that does not correct with Ponseti method. This is usually syndromic and surgery may be necessary. Recurrent clubfoot, children who show signs of deformity in previously treated clubfoot but occurs again with supination of foot and hindfoot equinus, usually due to failure to wear foot ankle orthosis treated by casting or surgery. Neglected clubfoot, child older than 2 years who had little or no treatment. Usually severe soft tissue contractures and bony deformities are the main cause. Ponseti treatment has some success, but it only requires surgery. Complex clubfoot, clubfoot treated by any method other than Ponseti technique, complicated by additional pathology or scarring. Now we'll look into Pirani scoring system. It is a simple and relatable system to determine severity and monitor progress in the assessment and treatment of clubfoot. It assesses 6 signs, 3 signs in midfoot, 3 signs in hindfoot, based on 6 well-described clinical signs of contracture characterizing a severe clubfoot. If the sign is severely abnormal, it scores 1, partially abnormal, it scores 0.5, and if it is normal, it scores 0. It looks into medial crease, posterior crease, curved lateral border, empty heel, lateral head of talus, and rigid equinus. Now we look into radiographic evaluation. For non-ambulatory child, we look into anteroposterior view and stress dorsiflexion lateral view. For older child, we look into standing anteroposterior view and standing lateral view. Important angles which we measure are talocalcaneal angle on AP and lateral view, tibiocalcaneal angle on lateral view, and talus first metatarsal angles. Now we look into talocalcaneal angle, also known as Kite's angle. On AP view, first line is drawn through the center of long axis of talus, which is parallel to its medial border. Second line is drawn through long axis of calcaneum. Normally, the angle is 25 to 40 degree. This angle will likely increase in CTEV. On lateral view, first line is drawn through midpoint of head and body of talus. Second line is drawn through the bottom of calcaneum. Normally, this angle is 35 to 50 degree. It will be decreased in CTEV. Now, various radiological findings seen in CTEV are: on lateral view, there will be decreased talocalcaneal angle, disrupted talar first metatarsal angle, long axis of talus and calcaneum passes inferior to cuboid. Normally, it should cross the cuboid. On anteroposterior view, there is increased talocalcaneal angle, increased talar first metatarsal angle, and long axis of talus deviate laterally and passes along third or fourth metatarsal bones. Now comes the treatment part of CTEV. In treatment part, we will be studying only the non-operative treatment, that is casting system, and in surgical techniques only percutaneous sternotomy. Now, the treatment, the goal is to achieve the plantigrade foot, flexibility, cosmetically acceptable functional and pain-free foot in shortest treatment time. The principle of the treatment is soft tissue contracture release or stretching to restore normal tarsal relationship. Once normal tarsal relationship is attained, correction should be maintained till tarsal bones removes stable articular surface. Now coming to the non-operative treatment. First method to be described is Kite's method. Kite corrected each component separately, and correction was done in the following order. First, forefoot adduction was corrected, then heel varus, and then equinus. Now, he used calcaneocuboid joint as fulcrum that blocks abduction of calcaneus and thereby prevents eversion of calcaneum. Now, this is one of the errors in Kite's method. He also does not correct cavus, that is, which lead to pronation eversion of first metatarsal. This slide shows the main error in correction of clubfoot in Kite's method. Here in B, you can see there is pronation of the forefoot or eversion of the forefoot. Now this is due to the incorrect method of Kite, which corrects the adduction deformity first and does not look into cavus. This is another error in the Kite's method. By abducting the forefoot against pressure at the calcaneocuboid joint, the abduction of the calcaneus is blocked, thereby interfering with the correction of the heel varus. Now, the Ponseti method. It is a two-phase method in which there is first phase, that is treatment phase, and second phase, there is maintenance phase.
In treatment phase, the treatment is usually started as soon as possible during the first week of life. Only manipulation is carried out and cast is not applied. So mostly after the first week, the casting can be started. Now the order of correction is: first the cavus is corrected, then adduction is corrected with varus, and then lastly equinus is corrected. And Ponseti used talar head as the fulcrum. Thus, the errors which were there in the Kite's method were corrected. Now, the correction of cavus deformity. The basic principle lies that it is corrected by forefoot supination relative to hindfoot along with adduction of forefoot. Now, in this method, first the thumb is positioned over lateral aspect of head of talus, which fixes the hindfoot, and then the fingers of the other hand corrects the forefoot. Fingers should be kept on first and second toe, and it should be stretched a bit. Cavus and adduction are corrected by slight supination of forefoot in relation to hindfoot. Now, correction of varus and adduction. Correction of cavus brings metatarsal, cuneiform, navicular and cuboid bone in same plane of supination. Now, the foot is abducted and held in flexion and supination to accommodate the inversion of tarsal bones, while counter pressure is applied with thumb on lateral aspect on the head of talus. This maneuver necessitates prolonged stretching of medial tarsal ligaments and tendons. Now, to correct varus and adduction, pressure is exerted on metatarsals and counter pressure on lateral aspect of head of talus is given by the thumb. Further abduction of foot is held in flexion and supination. Foot is further abducted and supination is slightly decreased but without pronation of the foot. Now, for the correction of equinus, it should be attempted when hindfoot is in neutral position to slight valgus and foot is abducted 70 degree relative to the leg. Equinus is corrected by progressive dorsiflexing the foot. To facilitate rapid correction, subcutaneous tenotomy is done. Care should be taken while dorsiflexing foot by applying pressure under entire sole and not under metatarsal heads. Foot is further abducted up to 70 degree to stretch medial tarsal ligaments. Note that heel is not grasped by hands, thus allowing calcaneus to abduct the foot and heel varus to correct. Equinus is mostly corrected by subcutaneous section of tendo Achilles. Now, for percutaneous tenotomy, foot is held in dorsiflexion and tendon is felt. Blade of 11 size enters parallel to medial border of tendo Achilles 1 cm above insertion at calcaneum. Then the blade is pushed medial to the tendon and rotated 90 degrees underneath it. Tendon is cut from its medial to lateral direction. Pop is felt and cast is applied in maximal dorsiflexion and 70 degree abduction for 3 to 4 weeks. During percutaneous tenotomy, care should be taken to not injure tibial nerve and posteriotibial artery and sural nerve and peroneal artery. This is diagrammatic representation of sequential cast in Ponseti method. Now, the maintenance phase of Ponseti technique starts. After removal of cast, infant is placed in foot abduction orthosis, which is worn for 23 hours per day for first 3 months and then only while sleeping for 3 to 4 years. Frequent follow-up is important to detect early recurrence. It prevents recurrence of deformity. It favors remodeling of joints with bones in proper alignment and to increase leg and foot muscle strength. Foot abduction orthosis. These are also known as Dennis Brown splint. It consists of shoes mounted to crossbar in position of 70-degree external rotation and 15-degree dorsiflexion. Distance between the shoes is set at about 1 inch wider than the width of infant's shoulder. In unilateral cases, normal foot should be in 40-degree outward rotation. These are the CTV shoes which are worn once the child starts walking. These shoes are usually given until 5 years of age. It has straight inner border, it has outer shoe rise and no heel.
Thank you everyone. We will study about the surgical management in the next segment.